Hi YouTubers, this is RK for a quick review of the Batman v Superman movie. Actually, that's one of the reasons why I was so intrigued with the movie, because of the battle between the two heavyweights of the DC universe, Batman and Superman. Um, my DC knowledge for the DC universe is not as vast as my Marvel universe knowledge is. As I was saying, I wasn't really the biggest DC fan. Actually, I just got in the DC universe because a lot of DC TV series were coming out. The Flash, Arrow, Supergirl. And I really had zero knowledge of The Flash, and I really appreciated it when Grant Gustin played The Flash. And also with Oliver Queen in The Arrow. I did see them back then, but I wasn't really reading a lot of their stuff. A lot of my friends are asking, how would you know if this character is from DC, this character is from Marvel? Well, my answer to that is there's a point of origin. You have to know where they come from. The city, of course, which they come from. Like, for instance, most of the Marvel superheroes and villains came from a city that is known, that is real. Usually, most of the Marvel heroes comes from New York. The DC universe, on the other hand, their heroes come from a city of fiction. So there's no Smallville, there's no Metropolis, there's no Central City, National City, in the maps. So I hope that helps. I'm actually a bigger fan of Batman. As you can see, I have the Batman vault, which I could discuss later on in my other videos. So going back, I was pretty intrigued by what the critics were saying about the movie. Rotten Tomatoes, I have to quote them, rated them at a 30%. So, but I knew that the true comic book fans would still go out and watch the movie. And here in the Philippines, it had an earning of around 86.5 million in its first day, which was a Saturday here in Manila. So I went to see it the day later, which was Sunday. And to be quite honest, I could see what the critics were so skeptical about. But as a comic book fan, I really didn't mind it at all. So let me just go first to what I thought was missing or lacking in the movie. Actually, the movie is well presented. There were a lot of fight scenes there. And the fight scenes actually reminded me of the video game that I was always playing, which was Injustice. It really had, and I was really looking forward a lot of it. Sad to say, felt that the first 40 minutes of the film, there was just a lot of things that were happening. Because in the first part, which was the first 5 minutes, they could already, show the origin story of Batman. But however, there were teasers on when Darkseid was coming, or I actually didn't know that it was Arthur Luthor, not Lex Luthor, who was in the film, because I didn't do a lot of research on it. I just went in there as a casual fan to see what was happening in the movie. There was a lot of things really happening. In the first 40 minutes, I felt was dragging. I felt that there needed to be an origin story first before they launched the movie, so that people would get a gist on where the story was going, because a lot of things were happening with Batman, a lot of things were happening with Superman, and it seems to be short for a 2.5 hour movie, which why I think, in my personal opinion, there should have been a standalone movie for the Batman that they were, putting in the cinemas. However, what I did like about it is that it was really that dark Christian Nolan film. I liked it because it was very mature, and in a sense it was true to the comic, which was this one. Let me just show it to you. The Death of Superman, which was around in the 90s. And actually, the the part here, the ending part, Superman died, and you can see there, Lewis was crying, and we can't really expect everything to be comic accurate because in this death of Superman, the Justice League was already formed here, and there wasn't really an appearance of the Flash or the other guys in the movie, which was Aquaman. We had here Green Lantern and Guy Gardner. But of course, you can't expect movies to really be as accurate as they should have been. Another thing that you would like about the film is that, of course, Gal Gadot. I think what DC was trying to do, why they released Batman v Superman in the same year as Civil War, so these two will go head on. I think DC is trying to go head on with Captain America versus Iron Man. So it's a really a good twist of the heavyweights of Marvel versus the heavyweights of DC. By the way, let me just point out to those who say that Spider-Man's eye on the Civil War movie, it's very comic book accurate if you look at it. He had big eyes there. Okay. Anyway, this is a DC review. So yeah, then I was looking at the schedule, and it was good that they would be releasing the solo film of Wonder Woman next year. The same time, JLA, which was the first part, would be also released. I was wondering why Cyborg's solo film would be on 2020 while the Justice League 2 would be around a year earlier. But it may be a strategy by the DC Cinematic Universe. We don't know. So yeah, I feel that it's a must watch for the hardcore DC fans. For fans of Batman versus Superman, you can't really ignore the heavyweights of these icons like Superman there, who was around since 1938. And it's really a good movie. It was just confusing, especially if you don't know your DC language. You really have to be a big DC fan to appreciate and understand what Jack Snyder was doing. And yeah, I feel that the critics were too hard on what they were saying, but I do really understand the point, and maybe on the coming DC movies, which is getting me excited because I saw Ezra Miller who will be playing the Flash. I was quite skeptical at first, but as I saw a glimpse of him, yeah, I can see why Grant Gustin wasn't chosen for the part. And of course, I was very excited for Aquaman because I really don't know anything about Aquaman. He reminds me of Marvel Submariner. They both need a standalone movie, and I feel that it's their time. And the Aquaman I saw on Batman v Superman was really a dark force. So yeah, I'm pretty much excited about that, and thumbs up to DC for the film. And I know that it really got me hyped up of of course again the Wonder Woman standalone. So thank you for watching my video.